The true story of the three little pigs, as told by John Scieszka and illustrated by Jane Smith, and is told in the viewpoint of a wolf. The true story of the three little pigs. Everybody knows the story of the three little pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because no one has heard it, my side of the story, said the wolf. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can all call me Al. I know you don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault. Wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back and once upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. Oh, look, he's making a cake for his granny. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig. And he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, right. Who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. That's when my nose started to itch, and I felt a sneeze coming on, and well, I huffed, and I snuffed, and achoo! And I sneezed a great big sneeze. And you know what? That whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig. Dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner lying right there in the straw. So you know what I did? I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. What would you do? Yeah, you'd eat it too. So I was feeling a little better, and I still didn't have my cup of sugar for my granny. So I went to the next neighbor's house. The neighbor was the first little pig's brother. You know, he was a little smart, but not much. He had built his house out of sticks. See? I rang the doorbell in the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, go away, wolf. You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chin. Look at his hairs. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming. And I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but the sneeze came and I sneezed a great sneeze. Achoo! And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know, food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing that there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full. But my cold was feeling a little better, and I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and the second pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family, because he built his house of bricks. I knocked on the door. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, Wolf. Don't you bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't even give me one little cup for my dear old sweet granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed, achoo, again. And then the third little pig yelled, and your poor old granny can go sit on a pin. Oh, that was rough. Then, now, I'm usually a calm fella, but when somebody talks about my poor old granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down that poor little pig's door, and the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a really big scene. Look at him. Look at him. The rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down stuff. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. But maybe could you loan me a cup of sugar for my poor old granny? And that's the end of the true story of the 3 little pigs, told by a wolf. Hope you enjoyed.